Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Life is not a rehearsal. This is it. This is your moment. And the truth is, you are either moving forward or falling behind. There is no standing still in life. Improvement is not a choice, it's survival. If you stop growing, you start dying. If you stop learning, you start declining. And if you stop improving, you lose the very spark that makes life worth living. Every single one of us has a calling inside. Every single one of us has gifts that are waiting to be sharpened, refined, polished. But those gifts do not shine by accident. They shine when you put in the work. Today, I want to share with you 10 principles, 10 truths that will push you to never stop improving yourself. Because when you make self-improvement your lifestyle, you will see doors open that you didn't even know existed. Let me tell you something. Growth does not happen when everything feels easy. Growth begins where comfort ends. If life feels too smooth, too predictable, too effortless, chances are you're not moving forward, you're just standing still. Think about it. When you go to the gym, you don't grow by lifting what's light, you grow by lifting what's heavy. It's not the comfort of the exercise that builds strength, it's the resistance, the burn, the discomfort. That pain you feel in your muscles is the proof that you're getting stronger. And life is no different. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback you've faced, it wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to develop you. Too many people run from the very thing designed to make them who they were born to be. But if you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. A diamond doesn't shine because it was handled gently. It shines because it was cut, it was pressured, it was refined in fire. You are the same way. Think about the butterfly. When it's trapped in the cocoon, it has to fight, it has to push, it has to struggle to break free. And here's the truth. If you cut that cocoon open to make the process easier, the butterfly would never develop strong wings. It would come out weak. It would come out unable to fly. The very struggle it endured in that tight space was the preparation it needed to soar. Some of you are praying for an easier path when what you really need to do is embrace the cocoon. Because the cocoon is your classroom, the cocoon is your gym, the cocoon is where you develop the strength to fly. Now, don't confuse pain with punishment. Struggle does not mean you're being punished. Struggle means you're being prepared. The challenges in front of you are not a sign of your weakness. They are an invitation to your greatness. Look back at your life. Was it the easy days that shaped you, or was it the hard ones? Was it the times when everything went your way, or the times you had to fight with everything inside of you to keep moving forward? I think about the single mother working 2 jobs to provide for her children. She doesn't have the luxury of comfort. She has to sacrifice, she has to stretch, she has to endure long nights and early mornings. And in that struggle, she becomes stronger, wiser, more resilient. She is not being punished, she is being prepared, and her children will rise because of the wings she grew in that cocoon. I think about the young man who dreams of becoming a doctor. He has to study while others sleep. He has to sacrifice nights out with friends. He has to fail tests, pick himself up and try again. That is not punishment, it is preparation. Because when the day comes, when someone's life is in his hands, he will be ready. His strength was forged in struggle. You see, too many people want the victory without the battle. They want the testimony without the test. But life doesn't work like that. You cannot have a breakthrough without first being pressed. You cannot discover what's inside of you if you never face resistance. The storms you're facing right now, they are not designed to drown you. They are designed to teach you how to sail. And let me be real with you. It won't be easy. Growth never is. You will cry, you will doubt, you will feel like quitting. But on the other side of that pain is the version of you that you've been praying for. The version of you that is stronger, wiser, sharper, more capable. The version of you that can handle the weight of the blessing that's waiting for you. Because blessings come with weight. And if you haven't built the strength in the struggle, the blessing will crush you instead of carry you. So the next time you face a wall, don't curse it, climb it. The next time you feel the burn, don't quit, push through it. The next time life feels like a cocoon, don't look for someone to cut it open for you. Fight your way out, because the fight is what prepares you to fly. Remember this, growth begins where comfort ends. If you want to rise higher, if you want to live greater, if you want to discover the best version of yourself, stop running from the struggle, embrace it. Because your struggles are not your enemies. Your struggles are your trainers. They are not punishments, they are preparation. And every time you face them head on, you are one step closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Discipline is the engine of change. You can have all the talent in the world, you can be gifted beyond measure, but without discipline, that talent will wither away. Talent might get you noticed for a moment, but it will not keep you there. Discipline is what sustains greatness. It is the quiet commitment you make when no one is watching, the decision to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. Too many people confuse inspiration with transformation. Inspiration might light the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Everybody feels motivated at the start. January is full of people signing up for gyms, full of resolutions, full of fresh goals. But come February, the treadmills are empty, the journals are closed, and the resolutions are forgotten. Why? Because inspiration fades, but discipline endures. Discipline is not about feelings, it's about choices. Look at the greatest athletes, the legends, the ones whose names are etched in history. They weren't just talented, they were relentless. Michael Jordan wasn't the best because of his talent alone. He was the best because while others were sleeping, he was in the gym. While others were satisfied with being good, he was obsessed with being great. He practiced harder than anyone, even after he had already proven himself. That's discipline. It's doing what must be done long after the excitement has worn off. Think about it like building a house. Discipline is the brick you lay every single day. One brick doesn't look like much. 2 bricks don't either. But day after day, brick after brick, you create something that stands the test of time. Discipline is the structure that holds your future. Without it, your dreams are just sandcastles, beautiful but temporary, washed away the moment the tide comes in. And here's the truth. Discipline will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you the easy way out. But it will give you something far greater. It will give you character. It will give you freedom. It will give you the power to look back and say, I earned this. You can't buy discipline, you can't borrow it. You have to build it. I once heard a story about a young man who wanted to be a pianist. He had raw talent, he could play by ear, and people admired his gift. But he had no discipline. He played only when he felt like it. He avoided scales, he skipped practice. Another young man with far less talent practiced every single day. Hours upon hours, even when it was boring, even when no one was clapping. 10 years later, the talented boy had stopped playing altogether, while the disciplined one was performing on grand stages. That is the power of discipline. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Now, discipline doesn't just apply to careers or dreams. It applies to every area of life. If you want health, you need discipline. If you want strong relationships, you need discipline. If you want financial freedom, you need discipline. You can't eat junk food every day and expect energy. You can't ignore your spouse or children and expect closeness. You can't spend recklessly and expect security. Improvement in any area demands consistency, and consistency is born out of discipline. And here's something we don't like to hear. Discipline is lonely. Discipline means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. Discipline means waking up early when the world is still asleep. Discipline means sacrificing temporary pleasures for permanent progress. You won't always have a cheering crowd. You won't always have someone reminding you of why you started. Most of the time, it's just you, your will, and the choice in front of you. That's where discipline lies. But the beauty of discipline is this: the pain of it is temporary, but the reward is eternal. Waking up early hurts for a moment, but the strength you build lasts. Studying late into the night is tiring, but the knowledge stays. Training until your muscles ache feels brutal, but the confidence it gives you will outlast the pain. Discipline is never wasted. It compounds, it multiplies, it transforms. So the question becomes, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to give up what feels good now for what will feel great later? Because if you are, life will reward you in ways you cannot imagine. Every champion you admire, every leader you respect, every success story you've heard, they all have one thing in common. It wasn't luck. It wasn't just talent. It was discipline. Day after day, choice after choice, brick after brick. And if you want to improve, if you want to become more than what you are today, if you want to leave behind a legacy that echoes long after you're gone, discipline is not optional. It's essential. It is the engine of change, and without it, you'll stay parked in the same place, no matter how much potential you have under the hood. We often think that in order to change our lives, in order to improve, we need to take giant leaps, make bold moves, or wait for some miraculous breakthrough. But life doesn't work like that. Real improvement isn't built on sudden explosions of progress. It's built on small, consistent steps that compound over time. Those little decisions you make each day, the habits you repeat, the effort you put in when nobody notices, that's where the future is shaped. Think about it, 10 pages a day might not seem like much. It feels small, almost insignificant. But at the end of a year, that's 12 books. 12 new voices, 12 new sets of ideas, 12 new tools that expand your mind. It doesn't happen in one sitting. It happens in 1,000 little sittings that add up. That's how improvement works. It's not the fireworks, it's the steady flame that never goes out. The same is true with money. You may think saving a few dollars here and there isn't worth it, but put that money away consistently, and over time it grows. It compounds. That's how wealth is built. Not from sudden windfalls, but from disciplined, small steps that snowball into security. A drop of water looks powerless on its own, but when those drops keep falling, they carve valleys into stone. Consistency may look quiet, but it is powerful enough to reshape landscapes. Look at how a child learns to walk. They don't run on the first try. They fall, they wobble, they take one shaky step at a time. But those steps, repeated day after day, to running, to climbing, to conquering the world with their feet. That's the beauty of small steps. They may feel unimpressive in the moment, but over time they create unstoppable momentum. I've seen people give up on their dreams because they didn't see instant results. They wanted the body after one workout, the degree after one class, the business after one investment. But the truth is, nothing great is built overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is your future. It's brick by brick, choice by choice, step by step. Every little action matters, even when it feels like it doesn't. Take an athlete training for a marathon. They don't start by running 26 miles. They start with 1, then 2, then 5. Slowly, their body adapts, their lungs expand, their legs strengthen. By the time the marathon arrives, those small, invisible miles have prepared them for the big stage. Life is the same way. Your small miles are preparing you for the race you haven't even run yet. And let me remind you of this. Small steps aren't just about achieving goals, they're about building character. When you choose to be faithful with the little things, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted with bigger things. You develop patience. You learn endurance. You build resilience. Because the truth is, if you can't handle the small steps, you'll never handle the big leap. Now, small steps don't mean easy steps. Sometimes the hardest thing in the world is showing up every day, reading those 10 pages when you're tired, putting away that little bit of money when bills are piling up, lacing up your shoes when you don't feel like running. That's where the discipline comes in. That's where consistency takes root. Improvement isn't flashy, it's repetitive. But repetition is what makes mastery. Think about the great musicians. They don't just play the big performances. They practice scales over and over, the same notes repeated for hours. It's boring. It's tedious. But that repetition, the small steps of practice, is what allows them to perform symphonies that bring people to tears. Every masterpiece is built on 1,000 small, unseen steps. And here's the thing, you don't have to take massive action today. You don't have to climb the whole mountain this week. You just have to take the next step, one step, and then another, and then another. Improvement doesn't come from trying to do everything at once. It comes from doing the next right thing, day after day. When you look back years from now, you'll realize it wasn't the giant leaps that defined your growth. It was the little choices you made when nobody was watching. It was the quiet steps you took when no one was clapping. It was the faithfulness in the small things that built a future bigger than you imagined. So never underestimate the power of daily effort, because those small steps, repeated with patience and persistence, Let me be honest with you. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is not something to be ashamed of, something to hide, something to run from. Failure is the teacher that life sends to everyone who is serious about growth. If you're afraid to fail, if the thought of making a mistake makes your heart race, then let me tell you this: you will never reach your potential. You will never know what you are capable of, because fear will paralyze you before you even take the first step. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. 1,000, can you imagine the pressure? 1,000 times trying, 1,000 times not succeeding, 1,000 times being told, maybe this isn't going to work. Most people would have quit after 10. Most people would have quit after 1. But Edison didn't see those 1,000 attempts as failures. No, he saw them as lessons. Each one was a piece of information, a clue, a step closer to success. He didn't let failure define him. He let it guide him. Too many people run from failure because they equate it with defeat. But failure is not defeat. Failure is tuition. It is the price you pay to learn something you cannot learn any other way. You cannot learn courage without being afraid. You cannot learn patience without being tested. You cannot learn resilience without stumbling along the way. Every mistake, every setback, every no you encounter is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and better equipped for what's next. Think about a young athlete who dreams of greatness. They miss the shot, they fall behind, they lose the game. If they allow failure to crush them, they will never rise again. But if they study the mistake, if they train harder, if they analyze what went wrong and refuse to repeat it, they grow. The missed shot becomes the lesson that sharpens their aim. The lost game becomes the motivation to improve. Failure, when embraced, becomes the ladder to achievement, not the trapdoor to defeat. I want you to understand this clearly. Failure is proof that you are trying. If you've never failed, you've never pushed yourself. If you've never been rejected, you've never stepped out. If you've never stumbled, you've never dared to move forward. So stop treating failure as the end. Start treating it as a sign that you are alive, a sign that you are learning, a sign that you are growing. Every successful person you admire has a trail of failure behind them. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Before he created an empire, J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter saw the light of day. Do you think they gave up? No, they learned, they adapted, they improved. And that is why the world knows their names. Their failures were stepping stones, not tombstones. Failure is uncomfortable. It stings. It humbles you. It challenges every part of your being. But those are exactly the qualities that forge character. You will never develop perseverance without it. You will never build confidence without it. You will never reach your highest potential without it. Failure is the fire that tempers your steel, the storm that strengthens your roots, the weight that teaches you how to carry more. And let me warn you, running from failure only makes it worse. The more you avoid taking risks, the more opportunities you miss, the smaller your world becomes, and the heavier the regret grows. Some of the deepest pains in life are not from failing. They are from not trying at all. The fear of failure is the thief of dreams, the assassin of ambition. Do not let it steal your future. So when you stumble, do not despair. When you fall, do not quit. When life says no, do not give in. Instead, pause, learn, and rise again. Examine what went wrong, take the lesson, and use it to fuel your next attempt. Improvement is built on the lessons of failure, brick by brick, step by step, mistake by mistake. There is no shortcut, no bypass, no alternative route. Failure is the curriculum, and learning from it is the diploma. And here's the thing: failure also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are human. It reminds you to respect the journey. It reminds you that you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond, and how you respond. That is what defines you far more than the failure itself ever could. If you want to grow, if you want to rise, if you want to leave a mark that lasts, you have to embrace failure. You have to look it square in the face and say, I will learn, I will improve, I will move forward. Because failure is not a dead end. It is the pathway to mastery. It is not punishment. It is preparation. And every step you take through it brings you closer to the greatness that is waiting on the other side. Think about the people you spend the most time with. Really think about them. These aren't just faces you pass by at work or names on a contact list. These are the voices that echo in your head when you wake up in the morning, the energies that shape your day, the people whose standards, dreams, and fears seep into your own life without you even realizing it. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that is not just a quote, it is truth. It's subtle, almost invisible at first. You start to talk like them. You start to think like them. You start to see the world the way they see it. And if those voices are negative, if those energies are draining, if those people see obstacles before opportunities, you will find yourself carrying that weight without ever choosing it. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine being around people who dream audaciously, who wake up every day with fire in their hearts, who refuse to settle for mediocrity, who lift others as they climb. When you step into a room filled with builders, people who are relentless in pursuit of growth, who see potential instead of limitations, who work not just for themselves but for everyone around them, something remarkable happens. You begin to rise. Improvement is contagious. Energy is contagious. Hope is contagious. And suddenly the air around you smells like possibility instead of despair. We all have those friends who make us feel good, who laugh with us, who make life comfortable. There's value in comfort, but comfort alone does not build legacies. If all you are seeking is to feel good, to be entertained, to avoid confrontation with your own shortcomings, you are settling. And settling is a slow death of potential. Surround yourself with people who push you, who challenge you, who call you out when you are making excuses. People who don't just accept who you are today, but believe in who you can become tomorrow. These are the people who demand more of you because they see more in you. They see the spark before it becomes a flame, the seed before it becomes a tree, the quiet potential before it becomes a roar. Look closely at your circle. Are they dreamers or complainers, builders or breakers? Because it matters. It matters more than any skill, more than any degree, more than any plan you make on paper. If you spend your days listening to people tear down ideas, ridicule ambition, or dismiss effort, your own voice will start to echo that doubt. Your energy will start to mirror that hesitation. Your mind will start to shrink in the same way. But when you are with people who encourage action, who celebrate discipline, who cheer progress, you cannot help but grow. You begin to operate on a higher plane simply because you breathe the air they breathe. And here's the challenge: choosing your circle is not always easy. Sometimes the people who are easiest to be around are the ones who keep you small. Sometimes loyalty keeps us trapped with those who drain us instead of elevate us. And yes, it can be painful. Relationships are hard, especially when the right thing is to step away from someone you care about, someone who shaped part of your journey. But let me tell you something. It is not betrayal to choose growth. It is not weakness to demand excellence of your environment. You owe it to yourself to create this space where your dreams are not just tolerated, but amplified. You owe it to your potential to be around people who do not settle, who refuse to let you settle, who remind you daily that your life is bigger than your fears, stronger than your doubts, and more powerful than your excuses. You see, life is too short to be dragged down by negativity, by cynicism, by those who see limitation in every opportunity. Life is too short to waste on people who are more committed to tearing things down than building them up. Instead, choose the builders, choose the dreamers, choose the doers. Choose the believers who insist that you rise, who celebrate every victory with you, who push you through the failures, who make you accountable not out of judgment but out of love. Because in that circle, something magical happens. You don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just get by, you excel. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, your life transforms. Surround yourself with builders and watch your world change. Watch your ideas gain momentum. Watch your courage grow. Watch your faith in yourself deepen, because you were never meant to live in smallness, and you were never meant to do it alone. The company you keep will either cage you or free you. Choose wisely. Choose to rise. Choose to build and to be built. Every day you wake up, you are given a choice. You can let the day pass like so many before it, unnoticed and unclaimed. Or you can take it as an opportunity, a chance to grow, to sharpen, to expand who you are. Knowledge is power, yes, but knowledge is more than power. Knowledge is progress. Knowledge is the bridge between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming tomorrow. It is the fuel for your ambition, the light in the darkness of uncertainty, the wings beneath dreams waiting to take flight. Think about it. Improvement doesn't just happen by chance. It doesn't sneak up on you while you sleep. Improvement demands that you feed your mind with the same intensity you feed your body. You wouldn't survive on empty calories, so why survive on an empty mind? You have to give it substance, nourishment, challenge. Every book you read, every podcast you listen to, every seminar you attend, every question you ask, these are the bricks you lay in the foundation of your own greatness. And let me tell you something, learning doesn't have to be monumental to be transformative. It doesn't have to take hours, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be perfect. Every day, every hour, even every minute is an opportunity to learn something new. A fact, a skill, a perspective, a story. Small deposits of knowledge compound over time. What you know today is the seed for the brilliance you show tomorrow. If you read 10 pages today, that's 10 more than yesterday. If you ask one question today, that's one more step beyond the comfort zone that yesterday held you in. Imagine a life where every day, without fail, you grow. Imagine the edge you would have over the person who waits for opportunity to come knocking, who assumes they know enough, who fears the humility of admitting, I don't know. Every day, choose learning over ignorance. Choose curiosity over complacency. Choose the discomfort of growth over the comfort of stagnation. Because the mind, like the body, atrophies when it is neglected. It shrinks under monotony. It grows restless under limitation. But it soars when challenged, when fed, when stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. Feed your mind relentlessly. Listen with intent, read with hunger, question with courage. Every conversation can be a lesson. Every mistake can be a teacher. Every person you meet, every book you open, every story you hear carries within it the potential to expand your perspective. And perspective is powerful. Perspective shapes the decisions you make, the risks you take, the dreams you chase. Without perspective, ambition is blind. Knowledge lights the way, and curiosity is the torch that keeps it burning. Never go to bed without learning something new. Let this be a rule you honor, not out of obligation, but out of reverence for the life you are building. Let each night close with the satisfaction that your mind has been stretched, your understanding widened, your possibilities multiplied. Let the hunger for growth become a habit, so ingrained that it drives your mornings and guides your nights. Life is too short to live in ignorance, and the world is too vast to ever stop learning. And don't mistake learning for something passive. True learning requires action. It demands that you engage with ideas, wrestle with concepts, challenge assumptions, and apply what you've absorbed. Knowledge is not something to hoard. It is something to live, to practice, to embody. Every lesson you internalize becomes a tool you wield, a strategy you deploy, a shield and a sword in the battles of life. There will be days when it feels too hard, too overwhelming, too pointless. You will wonder, why bother? And in those moments, remember this: the mind you feed today is the life you inherit tomorrow. Every piece of knowledge you acquire is a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. It will grow slowly, sometimes unseen, but it will grow. You will look back one day and see the tree you have built from tiny seeds of learning, and it will shelter you in ways you could not have imagined. So read, listen, question, explore, discover. Take classes, watch tutorials, dive into the unknown. Seek wisdom in unlikely places. Learn from the young, learn from the old, learn from failure, learn from triumph. Every day offers a new horizon. Every encounter offers a new insight. Every lesson learned becomes a stepping stone toward the person you are meant to be. Feed your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Every moment you invest in learning is a moment invested in your future, your potential, your greatness. Do not waste a single day being small. Do not waste a single night leaving your mind empty. Knowledge is not just power, knowledge is the path. Walk it relentlessly, walk it intentionally, walk it with hunger and courage. And in the end, you will see that the person who learns every day does not just survive. They do not just endure, they rise. They conquer, they inspire. Because a mind that grows every day is a mind that cannot be stopped. A mind that cannot be stopped is a life that cannot be contained. A life that cannot be contained is a legacy waiting to be written. We talk about success. We talk about dreams. We talk about goals. But there is one truth that too many of us overlook: without health, none of it matters. You can have ambition as wide as the sky, drive as relentless as a hurricane, and visions of greatness that stretch for decades. But if your body is breaking down, it all crumbles. Improvement in life starts with energy, and energy starts with the foundation of your health. Think about your body, the one you have, the only one you'll ever have. You can't replace it, you can't trade it in, and you can't put it on a shelf to fix later. Every choice you make impacts it. Every meal, every step, every hour of sleep. It's all either building you up or breaking you down. And yet, how often do we ignore the warnings? How often do we think, I'll start tomorrow, while tomorrow slips into the next week, and the next month, and the next year? Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Your body doesn't wait for you to get serious. The clock keeps ticking, and every neglectful day adds weight to a future crisis that could have been avoided. Improvement in life demands energy, true energy. Not the temporary spark from caffeine, not the fake boost from adrenaline or stress, but deep, lasting energy that allows you to think clearly, act decisively, and persevere relentlessly. That energy comes from eating right, moving your body, resting enough, and giving it the care it deserves. Nourish it, strengthen it, respect it. Exercise not because you want to look a certain way, but because every muscle, every organ, every cell in your body is a soldier in the fight for your life. Feed it, move it, honor it, and it will carry you further than you ever imagined. And sleep. Don't cheat it. Don't brag about burning the candle at both ends. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the repair system, the reset button, the engine tune-up that keeps everything running. Skimp on sleep and everything else suffers. Your mind falters, your decisions weaken, your body falters, your spirit falters. Improvement cannot survive on exhaustion. Growth cannot thrive in depletion. Energy cannot manifest in a body that is breaking down from neglect. Think about the examples we often hear about. People who have everything the world says is valuable: wealth, power, influence, and yet, in the end, it is not enough. Billions cannot buy a healthy heart. Fame cannot restore a liver, a kidney, or a spine worn down by neglect. Even the brightest, most driven people, people whose names fill history books, have been humbled by the one truth that cannot be bought: health is wealth. Every success, every dream, every achievement is meaningless without a body strong enough to carry you there. Don't wait for a crisis to take your health seriously. Don't wait until your doctor shakes their head, your body screams in pain, or your mobility is limited. That's too late. Improvement cannot start from a hospital bed. Growth cannot bloom in sickness. Energy cannot thrive when the foundation is cracked. Your health is the soil from which every ambition, every dream, every plan must grow. Tend it, protect it, nourish it. And here's the challenge: caring for your health isn't always easy. It takes discipline. It takes sacrifice. It takes saying no to things that taste good or feel comfortable today in order to gain something far more valuable tomorrow. It takes consistency, patience, and the courage to honor your body even when it complains, even when it resists, even when you're tempted to ignore it. But the reward is more than worth it. With a strong body comes clarity of mind, strength of will, and endurance to overcome challenges that would otherwise crush you. With health comes freedom, the freedom to pursue your goals without limitation, the freedom to live fully, the freedom to improve every single day. Improvement, real improvement, is holistic. It's not just wealth, skill, knowledge, or relationships. It's all of these things working together, built upon the foundation of a strong, resilient, and well-cared-for body. Without it, your progress is fragile. Without it, your dreams are vulnerable. Without it, your potential is capped. Take care of the one instrument through which all your life passes. Your body and everything else has a chance to flourish. So start today. Choose health. Eat the food that fuels, not just fills. Move your body even when it resists. Sleep as if your life depends on it, because it does. Treat your body with the same respect you treat your ambitions, your work, and your dreams. Because here's the undeniable truth: health is wealth. The stronger your foundation, the higher you can climb. The healthier your body, the further you can reach. Without it, everything else, no matter how brilliant, stands on shaky ground. But with it, your life, your improvement, and your legacy have a fighting chance. Respect your body, feed it, move it, rest it, protect it, and watch as every part of your life begins to rise with it, because nothing worth achieving can survive on anything less. Improvement isn't just a matter of ambition, discipline, or personal achievement. Too often we define growth as something that happens inside ourselves, a solo journey toward bigger goals, higher status, or personal gain. But true improvement, the kind that leaves a legacy, the kind that transforms not just your life but the lives of those around you, begins when you step outside yourself. Service sharpens the soul. Service molds character. Service teaches lessons that no book, no seminar, and no personal victory ever could. When you serve, when you give, when you lift others up, something remarkable happens. You begin to grow in ways you never imagined. Your perspective expands. You start to see the world not just through the lens of your own struggles, your own desires, your own dreams, but through the eyes of someone else. You begin to understand that life isn't merely about collecting victories. It's about creating value for others. It's about being a source of hope, a hand to hold, a voice that reminds someone else that they are seen, they are capable, they are enough. Service shifts your thinking from self-centered to purpose-driven. There is a quiet power in helping someone without expecting anything in return. There is a subtle, almost invisible transformation that takes place when your actions are guided by love, compassion, and the desire to make a difference. You begin to understand that the world does not revolve around what you want, it thrives on what you give. And the more you give, the more your own heart expands, your own mind opens, and your own soul sharpens. You grow stronger not because you are taking, but because you are giving. You become richer not because you have more, but because you make more possible for others. Look at the greatest leaders in history. They weren't the ones who hoarded power. They weren't the ones who pursued their own comfort above all else. They were the ones who saw a need and stepped into it. They were the ones who lifted others when no one else would. They were the ones whose legacy wasn't measured by titles, wealth, or fame, but by the lives they touched, the communities they strengthened, and the hearts they inspired. And the reason they achieved greatness isn't separate from their service. It is because of it. Leadership, influence, and true growth are born in the act of giving. Ask yourself this question: who am I helping today? Who am I lifting? Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, but right now. Improvement isn't postponed. Growth isn't scheduled for later. Every act of service, no matter how small, feeds your character. It cultivates empathy, it teaches patience. It refines your values and challenges your pride. You learn to put someone else's needs before your own, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to rise above selfishness. You learn to listen, to understand, to see beyond the surface of a person's life. And in doing so, you realize that the lessons you gain, the growth you experience, cannot be found in solitude. They are found in connection, in contribution, in love expressed through action. Service also humbles. There is no greater teacher than stepping into someone else's shoes, seeing life through their struggles and realizing how much you take for granted. It forces you to confront your own biases, your own limitations, your own assumptions. And when you do this, when you face the truth with honesty and compassion, you grow. You grow in wisdom, in understanding, in character. You grow in a way that achievement alone cannot teach. And yet, serving others isn't always easy. It's not always glamorous. It may not be recognized. It may demand your time, your energy, your patience, and sometimes even your comfort. But growth never happens in comfort. Transformation never comes from ease. The soul is sharpened in the fire of giving, in the discomfort of stepping into another's need, in the courage to act when it would be simpler to ignore. And every time you do, every time you lift, every time you extend a hand, you create ripples that return to you in ways far beyond measure. Service is also a reminder that improvement is not a destination, it's a journey. And the journey is not meant to be traveled alone. You are meant to leave traces, to make impact, to influence lives beyond your own. Every act of giving, every word of encouragement, every deed of kindness shapes not only the people you touch, but the person you become. You cannot grow fully in isolation, because your character, your soul, your true potential are revealed not in what you keep for yourself, but in what you pour into the world around you. So make service a part of your daily life. Ask, who needs my help? Who can I lift today? And do it with intention, with heart, with courage. Don't wait for recognition. Don't wait for gratitude. Don't wait for the world to reward you. The reward is in the growth it sparks inside you. The reward is the sharpening of your soul, the expansion of your perspective, the strengthening of your character. Because here's the truth: improvement that serves no one else is incomplete. Growth that doesn't lift others is hollow. Achievement that leaves no positive mark on the world is fleeting. But when you serve, when you give, when you help lift someone else, you become part of something larger than yourself. You become someone who is remembered not for what they took, but for what they gave. You become someone who grows in every way that matters. You become someone who is alive, fully, powerfully, purposefully alive. We often think of improvement as a race toward what we don't have, a relentless pursuit of more money, more recognition, more success. And while ambition is important, it is not enough on its own. True growth, the kind that is lasting and fulfilling, begins with a different mindset. It begins with gratitude. Gratitude fuels growth. It changes how you see the world, how you interact with it, and how you allow it to shape you. Gratitude is not just a polite thank you here and there. It is a force that transforms your life. When you appreciate what you already have, something remarkable happens. You stop looking at life as a series of gaps to fill and start seeing it as a series of gifts to build on. You begin to understand that every small step forward, every tiny victory, every lesson learned is not trivial. It is significant. It is the foundation upon which bigger blessings are built. Improvement does not have to feel like a burden. It can feel like a gift when you recognize how far you have already come. A grateful heart shifts your perspective. It takes the focus off what is missing and places it firmly on what is present. Imagine waking up each morning and not thinking first about the obstacles, the struggles, or the things that are lacking, but instead starting with what is already there: your health, your family, your talents, your opportunities, even the small victories of yesterday. That perspective alone changes everything. Gratitude opens your mind to possibilities that frustration and dissatisfaction blind you to. It turns challenges into lessons, setbacks into guidance, and even failures into stepping stones. And here's the beautiful thing: a grateful heart attracts more opportunities, ideas, relationships, success. They all flow more freely to someone who recognizes and honors the value of what they already have. When you are thankful, your energy changes, your attitude changes, and the people around you feel it. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws people, it opens doors, it softens resistance, and it illuminates paths that you might otherwise miss. And as you step through those doors, you realize that the journey of improvement is not about scarcity, but about abundance. It is not about what you lack, but about what you choose to honor and expand. Improvement itself is amplified when it is wrapped in thankfulness. Small progress, no matter how seemingly insignificant, becomes fuel for further growth when you notice it, celebrate it, and appreciate it. Did you get through a difficult day without losing your patience? Are you taking steps, however small, toward a long-term goal? Are you learning, even imperfectly, even with mistakes along the way? Gratitude turns those moments into victories, and victories, however small, compound over time. They create momentum. They give you confidence. They remind you that you are capable, that you are advancing, and that life in all its complexity is working with you, not against you. Start your day with gratitude. Begin by acknowledging the simple, often overlooked blessings: the air in your lungs, the roof over your head, the people who care about you, the opportunities you might take for granted. Let gratitude set the tone for your actions, your mindset, and your interactions. And when the day closes, before you sleep, reflect again. Recognize what you learned, what you overcame, and what you achieved, no matter how small. When you end your day in gratitude, you create a habit that reinforces your growth. You train your mind to see abundance even in scarcity, and progress even in struggle. Gratitude also teaches patience and humility. It reminds you that improvement is a journey, not a sprint. You learn to honor incremental change and appreciate the process rather than obsessing over immediate results. You understand that life is not a checklist of accomplishments, but a canvas of experiences, lessons, and relationships. When gratitude becomes part of your daily rhythm, You begin to see life's trials not as punishments or failures, but as opportunities to deepen your appreciation for resilience, learning, and growth. And let me tell you something, gratitude is powerful in ways you cannot always measure. It changes your heart before it changes your circumstances. It transforms your internal dialogue. It softens fear, eases doubt, and fuels hope. You begin to notice what is possible rather than what is impossible. You begin to believe in your capacity to improve, to rise, and to achieve because you recognize that the world has already given you so much to build upon. So practice it. Notice what is working in your life. Thank the people who lift you. Celebrate the small steps forward. Reflect on the lessons that challenges bring. Make it a habit, a lens through which you see the world, and a foundation for your growth. Improvement is not just about pushing harder or achieving more. It is about seeing clearly, appreciating fully, and moving forward with a heart that is open and alive. When gratitude fuels your growth, you realize that life is abundant, that opportunities are everywhere, and that your journey is filled with lessons, gifts, and blessings waiting to be discovered. The pursuit of improvement becomes lighter, richer, and more joyful, because you understand that every moment you have, every step you take, every bit of progress you make is a gift. And when you embrace it with a grateful heart, your growth is unstoppable. The final principle, the